Good morning, theatre fans, and welcome back to my channel. Now today, Saturday the 10th of March, I am off to London to the Southwark Playhouse to see the West End transfer of Pippin the Musical. Now, I've heard of Pippin, but that's all I know about it. I know it's by Stephen Schwartz, who's also done Wicked. I'm very much looking forward to seeing what this musical is like. I have heard mixed reviews about it, so I shall walk in open-minded, and I shall do a full review later on. Now, I'm not driving to London today. I'm actually currently at the train car park, and my train is in about 20 minutes, so I thought I'll do a quick vlog, and you can follow me on my journey to London, to the Southwark Playhouse, and I will report back on my thoughts and feelings on the show later on. Okay, so welcome back to my review of the musical Pippin at the Southwark Playhouse in London, which I saw on Saturday the 10th of May 2018. Now, before I carry on with my review, I just want to put out a spoiler alert that what I am going to talk about and review may contain some spoilers if you have not already seen the show. So if that is the case, then pause right now and come back to it once you have seen the show. Okay, so I went in to see Pippin with open eyes, as I had no idea what to expect. I don't know the show at all. I don't even know the music. All I know is Stephen Schwartz of the Wicked fame, and also Children of Eden. And so I didn't really know anything at all. So I quite look forward to seeing a musical I've never seen before. And I'll be honest with you, I came out to there, and if I'm being honest, I couldn't even tell you what the musical was about. Not that I was saying it was a bad musical at all, in fact it was actually far from it. It was such a bizarre musical that it is literally open for interpretation. So I'm going to try to explain what the story is about, and I hope you can follow along. Maybe you've got a better interpretation of the musical, and I would love your thoughts on the show and what you actually thought of it and what you think it means to you. Now, I love the Southwark Playhouse, as every show I've been there has been quite quirky, it's quite fringe, it's different. The Southwark Playhouse is quite an intimate venue, it doesn't hold many people, and every time I've gone to see shows there, I always find myself amazed by what they can put on in such a small venue, and the seating arrangement is always completely different. So I was sitting in row B, and seat 19, facing the stage onwards, and when I booked the ticket I thought, great, sitting in the second row, not to the very front, and I still get a great view, only to find that they'd actually taken out row A, and the fact that I was actually sitting in the front row, centre to all the action. Now, the seat was a great seat. You could see the stage full on. Everything that was happening was right in front of you. They utilised the space well so that everybody could see what was going on. They weren't facing just one way throughout the whole show. It did feel a bit close, at times a little bit too close, as they were literally in front of you at many times throughout the whole production, but it wasn't intrusive at all, and I thoroughly enjoyed it. I thought it was a great seat, and I thoroughly enjoyed the show. So, Pippin at the Southwark Playhouse. I'm going to attempt my interpretation of the show in my own words, and I'd love to hear your views and opinions on it, or what your interpretations are. So the story opens with a book falling on the stage, and the young man Pippin appears and picks up the book and goes and sits in the corner. So while Pippin is reading this book, the rest of the story plays out. So straight away I'm thinking, okay, he's reading this book and what's happening on the stage is what he's reading, but in fact it isn't. Pippin actually then becomes part of the story. So what I got out of it was that these are actors being actors acting out a play. I could be wrong with that, but that was my interpretation, that Pippin is part of this company, this vaudeville company, who travel around and perform circus acts in that sort of style, this type of genre. And so it starts off in a long time ago in history, when we find out that Pippin is a son of the king. Now, Pippin had a very strong English accent, while the king, his dad, had a very strong Welsh accent, and then his mother turns up and she has a Scottish accent. So we have all nationalities of the UK in one family. And I thought, okay, this is interesting. I'm going along with this. So as the story progresses, we find that the king wants to kill a lot of people. Pippin's not happy about that. So along with his colleagues and friends who he meets, they concoct a plan where Pippin actually ends up killing his father, and he then becomes king. Now, Pippin also has a brother who also wants to be king, and the mother favours the brother over Pippin and tries for him to become king, but doesn't seem to materialise. That was the part of the story I thought was a bit strange, if I'm being honest, where the brother says he's going to be king, mother says he's going to be king, and yet he doesn't. So I'm not too sure how that works out. Maybe you can enlighten me in the comments, please. I will have to do a bit more research, if I'm being honest on this. And that was the end of Act 1. So I was like, okay, I'll go along with this. Let's see what happens in Act 2. So Act 2 comes along, and it's years and years later. Pippin has decided not to become king. He wants the easy life and goes and lives on a farm, where he meets a young handmaiden whose husband has died, so she's a spinster widower, and they fall in love with each other, much to the disgust of the other characters and players of the story, because that's not how the story is meant to be playing out. And by the end of the whole show, Pippin has to sacrifice himself for the big finale, but actually decides he'd rather run away and marry and be in love with this young farmhand, and which the narrator of the whole story is furious about and not happy about. And technically, that's how it ends. Now, I'm probably not explaining the story properly, but that's what I got from it. I've said to my friends since seeing the show that if anybody asks me what the show's about, I honestly could not tell you. Now, don't get me wrong, I thoroughly enjoyed the show. I thought the music was fantastic. I thought the storyline, okay, was weak. But again, it is open to interpretation, and that is what I got from the story. It doesn't really go anywhere, or what the purpose of everything was, but I did enjoy it. I thought they did a fantastic job. A very small cast in a very small intimate venue with minimalist set and props, which yet was executed very effectively, and I could follow along. Just couldn't tell you what it really was about. But you know what? I quite like that. Music and lyrics by Stephen Schwartz of Wicked fame and Children of Eden Now, I gotta say, the music was fantastic. Like I said, I didn't know any of the songs, but I came out to there wanting to buy and download the soundtrack, which I've subsequently done. And amazing actually how many songs actually do stick in your head. Like the open number, Magic to Do. What a great uplifting song to start the show off. Fantastic that. And then Corner of the Sky, Pippin's solo song, which actually I think I have heard somewhere over the past years, but not realising it was from this show, but I did recognise it. I couldn't say I knew it fully, but I recognised it and I thoroughly enjoyed that. Then we had No Time at All, which I thought was a lovely song. Morning Glow, which is the end of Act 1 after the death of the king by the hand of Pippin. What a fantastic song. It was just so moving. Okay, and then we're on to Act 2, which, if I'm being honest, not as memorable songs as Act 1, but nevertheless they were very thought-provoking and very uplifting and very moving as well. So, and I gotta say, I thought the band did a fantastic job in performing along with the cast. Okay, so let's talk about the staging. The stage was basically a long rectangle oblong stage that came out into the audience, and it was painted in circus style colours of stripes, red and white. Now, there wasn't much props, there wasn't much set, but what they used was very, very effective. The characters themselves are vaudeville characters, circus sort of players, and they were very sort of different costumes. Like the narrator had very much ringmaster feel to her, small little black hat, black basque, black jacket and knee-length boots. The only thing missing was a whip, but you could tell she was in charge, and all the other players and all the characters as part of this troupe all had the frilly sort of collars, braces and baggy trousers as well, and that was just for the men, and obviously the ladies had flowing dresses of characters of the time of yesteryear. I've talked about the singing, but I also want to talk about the dancing. Straight away I thought Fosse. It's all of the actions and the head turns and the wrists, and you could just tell that it was inspired by Bob Fosse, and just it was just brilliant. The way they moved the heads and the arms and the hats, very Fosse-like. And if anything as well, I thought it was very much like Chicago. Even some of the music, there were certain notes there I thought they were going to break into song of all that jazz. Come on, babe, why don't we paint the town? I thought they were going to sing that at one point. But yeah, very Fosse, and I gotta say, I thoroughly enjoyed it. I was mesmerised by all the dance routines. Very cleverly done, very sharp, very quick, very neat, and I really enjoyed those little touches to enhance the show as well. Okay, so let's look at the characters. Now, I've gotta say, straight away, standout performer for me was the narrator of the whole show. And they don't actually call a narrator, they actually call lead-in players. They don't actually have names, to be honest. You have player 1, player 2, or just players in general. And the leading player, who I would class as narrator to the whole story, was absolutely insanely talented, incredible. And that is Genevieve Nicole, who I literally, no word of lie, could not keep my eyes off. And I told her this afterwards when I stayed behind, because I wanted to meet some of the cast and crew, because I thought she was insane. Her presence throughout the whole of the show was just mesmerising. Like I said, I could not keep my eyes off her. Her voice was incredible, her acting was just brilliant, and she just held her own, and she held the whole show together. And it's just, and with the moments that she wasn't on, which isn't very much, I was waiting for her to come back. I was like, where is she? Is she going to come back on? And her portrayal of her character, trying to push the story on and involving Pippin in the storyline, and also to be in charge of the other actors, the players, was just phenomenal. I thought she just, brilliant. And if you see the show, you know what I mean. She was, wow. And I gotta say, I thoroughly enjoyed her performance. And I mean, she's done a lot over the years. Velma Kelly in Chicago, and Guys and Dolls, Doing Wrong Scoundrels, been on TV. I'll be honest with you, prior to this, I didn't know who she was. But you've made a fan out of me, and I certainly would be looking forward to seeing what she does next. So Pippin himself was played by Jonathan Carlton. What a voice. Wow. I know Genevieve Nicole had a fantastic voice, but for male lead, he sang on Corner of the Sky beautifully, and such a hard song and a high song to sing, and he performed brilliantly. He had the naivety of the character as well as the strength of the character. He portrayed so many different emotions, and again, I don't know this actor. In fact, I don't know anybody in the cast. But everybody in this show, a small cast that it was, all played a part, all played a character which you could all connect with. So the king was played by Rydian Mark, who was Welsh, hence why he had the Welsh accent. And I'm guessing that the accent was put on quite a lot for the character, but I could be wrong because I didn't actually meet him after the show. He did a great job, as did Bradley Judge, who played Lewis, who was also the other brother. But I've got to say, I mean, I've got to be honest, the other stars were fantastic as well. Ellie Seaton, I've got to give a shout out to you. You were so lovely to meet me after the show, and thank you for clarifying and sort of chatting with me as well. It was lovely to meet you. Unfortunately, I'm not going to name everybody in the cast, but everybody was fantastic. They played so many different characters as well in such a simple way, by donning a hat on or a cape or a wig or something like that, and it became different characters. But I've got to say, one of the highlights of the whole show has got to be Mary Barclay. I hope I said your name right. Mary, M-I-M-A-I-R-I, Barclay. Mary Barclay, who played two characters, but the one that stands out for me was the grandmother, who literally got me in hysterics and got the audience joining in with her song, It's Time to Start Living. And it was such an upbeat song and so poignant, and you can relate so much to Pippin's character from this song, about making decisions in life and not caring about what other people is. It is literally about living, and getting the audience to join in, even by giving out words of the chorus to sing along with, because we weren't allowed to sing the verses because, as she said, they're mine, as she said, and you join in with the chorus. And well, I was crying with laughter. I thought it was brilliant. And that song has stuck in my mind since seeing the show. It was just brilliant. So bravo, well done on putting on a fantastic character and really getting the audience going. It was the highlight of the whole show for me, if I'm being honest. So going back to the beginning of my interpretation of the show, one thing that I took away from this show, which I thought was very poignant and very thought-provoking, comes right at the very end of the show, when the narrator gets very frustrated, very angry, and because Pippin doesn't do the big finish to the show where he's meant to jump into the fire pit, and decides to run off and get together with this other girl. But is that she has a little speech where she tells the characters, right, get that makeup off, stop the music, stop playing, get rid of the props, get rid of the set, get rid of the costumes, basically stripping everything back. And the stage itself is literally stripped back. There is no music playing, there is no lights, apart from a little spotlight or very, very dim light. The costumes are stripped back, the makeup is stripped back. And it made me think that the whole show is a show within a show, and that without makeup, without music, without costumes, without set, and certainly without actors, there would be no theatre. No entertainment, no actors, nothing. and it made me think and how grateful I am for talented people such as these are in the world to perform for us, to train for us, to put on these magnificent shows for us. The escapism. And without them, there would be no theatre, and for that, I am really, really grateful. And that is what I took away from Pippin the Musical. It may not be what the interpretation is meant to be, but it made me think a lot, so much so that I'm still thinking about it now and today. And I mentioned it to Genevieve Nicole, the narrator, after the show. And she not necessarily agreed with me, but she understood where I was coming from as well, as did Ellie Seaton, who also said, it is your interpretation of the whole show. It's people, vaudeville people, putting on performances like a circus act, going around different towns, different countries, different cities, different villages, putting on shows for entertainment for us, and then going back to that speech at the end where everything is stripped back. Without that, there is nothing. And that blew me, I'll be honest with you. I thought, yeah, I think I get this. So yeah, Pippin is not about the story, it's what you get out of it. And that is what I will take with me. If I'm being honest, I'd love to see the show again, and maybe I'll have different eyes if I saw it again. But it is only a short run, sadly, and I doubt I'll be able to catch it before it closes. However, if you have been to see it or want to go and see it, I highly recommend that you do, because it is brilliant. I thoroughly enjoyed it. I'd love to hear your opinions on the show, so please leave a comment down below on your thoughts and views on it. Do you agree with me? Do you disagree with me? If you like this video, can you please hit the like button? And if you want to see more of my videos, maybe hit the subscribe button. I try to upload videos as soon after I've seen shows. I've got quite a lot planned up for later on this year, lots to look forward to. So until next time, thank you for watching and happy theatre.